Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. Um, you won't believe it, but I forgot what email address I was using to to log in through StreamYard. So that is why I'm delayed. So sorry that I'm late. But I'll make sure I'll go a few minutes later just so that we make sure that we get all of our time in this month. So, hi, I'm Jasmine. For those of you who haven't been here with me before, I like blogging. I have two different blogs, Blogging Money Life, as well as Miss Millennium Magazine. I've been blogging since 2011. So, yeah, 2011. It's been a while. And I love it. I still love it. I know there's like a bunch of changes. There's so many different things to do. It's something I do in my spare time. And I like doing this monthly Q&A and answer any questions that you may have when it comes to blogging, as well as um, being able to talk about blogging more generally in regard to what's happening with it. So the whole purpose of this call is for me to answer any questions that you may have, and you guys can ask your questions in the chat here. So I'm just going to put a little note there for you really quick. 1 second. Post for questions here. Boom. So you see that chat on the right side. I just posted a chat so you can see it yourself. But yeah, post your questions in the chat, and I am happy to answer those. So what I typically do in between the questions is I usually come with a topic. And I wanted to give you guys a quick overview of what I plan on talking about because I think it's an interesting topic. Last month, what I talked about was just some of the strategies that I've been implementing on trying to drive traffic to my website. As I mentioned before, my blog was definitely, well, both of my blogs got hit with all the Google updates, and it made a massive negative direction, like pew, when it came to my traffic. So I've been implementing some strategies these last few months, and I want to share the results of some of those strategies with you guys today. So that's what I want to talk about. It's pretty much a part 2 of optimizing your website for traffic in a world where you may have to look other places other than Google to get some traffic to your site. I see you're here, Lurleen. Hi. Thanks so much for joining. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. Feel free to post your questions in the chat on the right here, and I'll be happy to get an answer for you. So let's jump right in. The purpose of me wanting to talk about this today is because I know there's a lot of negative talk and a lot of negative energy going towards all the changes with Google. Rightly so. It's very infuriating. I know a lot of bloggers who decided to just not do it anymore because they're like, I can't. It's been too much, especially because they've been doing it for the last couple of years. So it's been a rough couple of years for a lot of us. But I wanted to provide some hope that it is possible to have some positive traffic on your website with or without Google. So let me share my screen with you guys. I want to just show you some stats from my own blog here. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure they're moved over to the right screen here because I have a couple of screens I can work with. And this makes it a lot easier for me to put them on their own screen. There we go. Okay, so let me share my screen with you lovely folks so you can see what I'm looking at. Yes, allow. Okay, perfect. So this is my Google Analytics. So just full disclosure, this is what my traffic is. You can get an idea of how much traffic I'm getting. But as you can see, this last month for me has been excellent in regard to me growing my traffic. And, whatever, it's not to brag. What I really want to show you is what this looks like next to my organic traffic I'm getting from Google. So this next tab, I'm going to show you how much of this upward trajectory I'm actually getting from Google organic traffic. So I just showed you my analytics. Let me show you, let me share my screen again to show you my, let me do it. Yeah, to show you my Google Search Console. Okay, so there you go. Now, you look at this and see I'm actually on a downward trend. Like I have some peaks and some valleys, but right now it's just going down for most of the month of October. But despite that, it has not it has not changed the fact that I am seeing some significant growth on my blog this month. I have 130% growth rate on my website for traffic. So I share that, like I said, not to brag, but to show you that like um, there needs to be you need to like diversify where you're getting your traffic from. Google is not the answer anymore. Now, that's not to say that I've given up on Google. I'm not doing anything to drive traffic to Google. I absolutely am. But there are so many other things and other channels that you can use to make sure that you're getting traffic to your site, whether or not Google decides they're going to do something just nutty today. Um, so I just wanted to share that with y'all. And I'm not just going to show you and just say, oh, yeah, that's how it works. This be helpful. I'm going to give you the exact deeds of what I've been doing. So first thing you should know is I have tried a number of different strategies. And I'll list them all out for you. The first is focusing on Pinterest. So I've always had Pinterest. I've always posted my content on Pinterest, but I never really optimized my strategy for Pinterest to do it in a way where it fit in more with their guidelines that they've recently changed. And recently, I mean, in the last year, they've had their own things that they've been changing around to the point where I know people were saying, forget Pinterest, I'm not going to do it anymore. But my Pinterest traffic has doubled in this last month alone. So that's not my number one place where I'm getting a lot of my traffic, but it's definitely paying off. The thing about Pinterest is that it takes some time. It's not something where you can just jump into Pinterest and like be getting thousands and thousands of page views just from 1 month. I mean, you could get lucky, have one article just go nuts, and that's going to drive your Pinterest traffic, but it's more than just that. So a few things that I've done. I've hired I've hired someone to work on my Pinterest, but I can tell you exactly what she's doing. What she's doing is I give her a list of articles that I want to promote. And for each of those articles, she's creating anywhere from 5 to 6 different Pinterest images for each article. Right. So she takes those images and she's pinning them to a variety of different group boards in Pinterest. She's sharing them to boards that I have in my Pinterest account. And she's also sharing those pins in Tailwind communities. So if you're not using Tailwind, I know there was a while where people were saying, oh, I don't want to pay for this anymore. Tailwind's not really working for me. And I was always back there like, Tailwind is the best because it has communities. And if you're wondering what communities are, it's pretty much like Pinterest group boards, which it's funny. I can't even use Pinterest group boards as an example because I feel like they don't really work as well as they used to. But communities are still there and they still work. So, and what's better about communities compared to the group boards is there's accountability. So I can look at it and say, okay, I shared 10 of my own pins and I've only shared 5 from other people. So I need to share more so that I can get those back to that 50-50 range of where they need to be. Tailwind communities, making multiple pins for a single blog post, and then sharing those strategically into different groups. Something else that she did too, just to start, is she optimized my my Pinterest boards. So just like the thing is, like when you think about Pinterest, like you think about any other search engine tool, it's actually pretty easy. It's not rocket science what she's doing in regard to like making my pins stand out and getting more traffic to my website. But what she's doing is making sure that it's optimized. Like she'll take a board and she'll make sure that there's specific keywords. For example, she created a new board for me that's about skincare tips because she realized that I have quite a few articles about skincare tips. So she created a board that has, and I'm looking at it, so I'm just going to share it with you so you can see what I'm talking about here. So yeah, this is one of the boards my Pinterest person created for me. So it just says skincare tips. It's a group. I mean, it's not a group board. It's a board that she created on my site. And she optimized this because she put in great keywords, skincare tips, inspiration curated by Miss Millennium Magazine, lifestyle content. And then not only is she putting in information about who we are, we're a lifestyle content creator, what we do. And then she goes in to talk about what exactly are we going to talk about on this board. So anti-aging techniques to natural remedies. Like she found a bunch of keywords in Pinterest that that people are searching for and how they could come to my pins. And she put them all in this description. So she has shared some of these, which I know these are still fairly new because she just created this board for me this month. But all of these pins already have eyeballs. Now, they don't have a whole lot of clicks yet, but it's getting good traction. Let me look at one of the boards she's created before for me that have been up for a little bit longer. So let's see here. Blogging tips. So here's another one. She has a lot of good content here. Only has 15 pins. And of course, she's sharing my pins, but she's sharing pins from other people because you have to share other people's content when you're sharing into communities as well. But it's all good information that she's sharing here. And I can see like, yeah, I'm getting some views. I'm getting some click-throughs. So yeah, it's all coming along. Like I said, it's not something that's going to happen like overnight. But it's nice because like I said, I've doubled my traffic from Pinterest in this last month. And this is month 3 of me working with her to like make my Pinterest account get more traffic to my site. So that's one strategy that I've been doing that has been working. Oh, I see I have a question here from Lurleen. Lurleen says, thank you for sharing your stats. My problem is that I do not know how to write. Am I supposed to write for Google and use RankIQ or just write normal? That's a good question. Okay, so this has come up a few times when it came to all the arguments I'm seeing bloggers have about what to do next. When I first started blogging, you just wrote what you knew. You didn't do any keyword research. I mean, I'm sure people were doing keyword research. I just wasn't. I was late to the game when it came to SEO. But you just wrote about what you knew, and you knew that it was something that you had to write about because you tried looking for the answer on Google yourself and you didn't find it. And that was my keyword research. It was like, man, where do I find people who are experiencing the same thing I was going through? My blog started because I didn't want to pursue my career that I had just paid a lot of money for my degree. And I couldn't find a single article on how to deal with the fact that you don't want to pursue a career in your degree. So I wrote that content, and that content got a lot of traffic because what do you know? There are other people going through the exact same thing that I was going through. And the problem is it's a lot more competitive now. So you can't just say, oh, I didn't find this on Google. I mean, you can, you can do that, but a lot of it too has to come from what makes the most sense for you. So do you write for Google or do you write for yourself? You write normal. That's the answer. And then what I like to do is I use tools like RankIQ to make sure that I have the right keywords in there based on whatever search term I'm trying to rank for. And then when it comes to Google, what I do is I focus on schema. So schema being making sure that things are formatted properly, making sure you have the right headers, the right header tags and things for your content. But adding in some extra things that'll make you come up in like rich snippets. So for example, something that I've noticed is that when you put like an FAQ section at the bottom of your article, especially if your article is like a question that people are asking, you're more likely to show up in those rich snippets, which, by the way, I love the new rich snippets because what they're doing is they're using AI to come up with an answer, and they'll grab the 3 or 4 articles that they got their information from on the right side. So your article can show up right at the top, right up at the top if your rich snippet gets picked. maybe alongside some other articles, but it's a good way to show up on top. So you write for the people that you know that are looking for the answers that you're creating. So write normal. Use Rank IQ to throw in some more keywords just to buffing it up a little bit. And then for Google, just add an FAQ section, add a video to your article. That's another good way to get more, just for people to spend more time on your website. What I typically do is when I figure out what my keyword is in Rank IQ, let's say my keyword is how to bake cakes from Rank IQ. I take that keyword and I search Google under videos and I find the top video that's ranking for that keyword. And then I put it in my article. And what that does was it's done for me in the past. Even if it's not my video, um, when people do a video search for that keyword, your article is going to come up now. And the thing is, if it's a YouTube video, it still benefits the person who originally did it because they're still getting that traffic to YouTube from them watching it from your blog post. But now you're being pulled up from that video that you put into your article. So it's just knowing those little tips like that can really boost your traffic with Google. Adding videos, adding an FAQ section, making sure you have the right headers, making sure you have shorter paragraphs in your content so that it's good for mobile. You're not overwhelming people with a wall of text in your content. What are some of the other Google tips? I'm trying to think. You should a good site to like figure out what those little tactics are. Go to the site called Backlinko, and I feel like that's where I learned most of my SEO stuff, at least the stuff I learned for free. Other than that, I took a course called Stupid Simple SEO, and it had a lot of good tactics in there too. But some of the stuff I'm mentioning here is like things that they talk about pretty often, and they're very tactical. They talk a lot about different tactics that have worked for like on-page SEO. Like here, right here, editor's picks, the definitive guide to SEO. So here, I'm just going to give you this article, and I can almost guarantee you it's like all the tactics. So yeah, on-page SEO basics, optimize the title and description tags, craft captivating and valuable SEO content. So here, I just share this with you to give you an idea of what that looks like. All right. So answer to your question. 3 ways you write. The first, you write for your audience. You know it's a good topic because you want the answer for yourself. You're writing this for who you were before that you wish you had an answer for, right? Right normally. 2, find the keyword that works best for you using Rank IQ. I don't know which one comes first. If you want to pull for Rank IQ first, the keyword, and then develop the content, or you come up with the content idea and then put the keywords in, whatever. I usually start with Rank IQ, but I start searching in Rank IQ and their keywords based on topics that I've already come up with. And I use SEMrush. So what I'll do is I'll do research in SEMrush first and then plug it into Rank IQ. And I know it's going to be a good keyword, one that I can rank for quickly. And then I write normally, but incorporate the Rank IQ keywords. So anyway, Rank IQ keywords, write normally. And the third is use SEO on-page tactics to make sure that Google is paying attention. So I hope that answers your question in that regard. But yeah, it's been helpful. So for those of you who are just joining, my topic I'm talking about today is pretty much a part 2 to what I talked about last month, which is finding ways to drive traffic to your website without Google. And I'm still, and I want to preface this to say, like, this doesn't mean I'm saying, oh, screw Google, I'm never working with them again. I am still doing things on my website to make sure that my site is optimized for Google. And I've seen some spikes in my traffic in regard to like getting organic traffic from Google in the past, but it's just not consistent because who knows? Who knows what Google is going to change tomorrow? So I can't really depend on it at this point to be the sole place for my traffic. So I'm leaning on some other methods so that I have a little more control. And the first one I talked about so far is Pinterest, which has been very helpful. I've doubled my Pinterest traffic in the last month here, and it's driven a lot of traffic to my site. I definitely have articles that are in my top 10 on my site right now that are in my top 10 just because Pinterest, because There are some articles in my top 10 that aren't getting any organic traffic from Google right now. So, Pinterest, go there, put in the work when it comes to doing your SEO work for Pinterest, and don't look back. I highly recommend using Tailwind as a tool. They have a lot of good AI features if you haven't used it before. I was trying some of them out today. They have a new feature where you put the link to a blog post you just published, and it will create social media images and social media copy using AI that you just copy and paste so you can schedule it out for your blog post. That's just one thing you don't have to worry about when you're doing your Pinterest stuff. I didn't like the images it came up with, so I would recommend just uploading your own images using the tool. But it was great for just being able to pull copy from a URL, rather than me putting in the whole article in ChatGPT and saying, help me come up with some good copy for this. So Tailwind, they're really good about that. But honestly, the real reason I use Tailwind, and I said this years ago, and I will say it again, is because of their communities. Tailwind communities are where it's at. You will not regret it. It's a great way to get traffic to your website. And I think they have a free version too. I think with the free version, you can only be on like 5 communities. So make sure you choose wisely when it comes to the communities you want to be a part of. But Tailwind is a great tool. I'm going to give you guys the URL for Tailwind. And this one is a affiliate link for me. So full disclosure there. But I do use it, and I do believe that having this tool is one of the main reasons why I am seeing success in Pinterest right now. It was actually a requirement for the lady I'm working with to do my Pinterest. She was like, you have to have a Tailwind account. And I understand, because she's doing Tailwind communities. So here's the link if you want to check out Tailwind. Like I said, they have a free version if you want to just try it out, but I've been paying for it for years and I don't have any regrets about it. So let me say, yay, congrats on your success in Pinterest. Thank you. I appreciate that. But Pinterest has not been the only way that I've been getting traffic. The other way I've been getting traffic to my website is optimizing it with SEO tactics, but not just focusing on Google Search Console or Google. I'm also focusing on other search platforms. So I mentioned last time that Yandex is another search engine. More so, you don't have to be on Yandex if you're more locally based or you're not interested in international traffic. I know Yandex is Russian, so if you have more European type of followers on your site, that's a good search engine to make sure that you're on their search engine tool for. But what I like it for, even though my content I do get people from all over the world who read my content. What I like it for is that Yandex is looking at different things than Google. Not to say that there isn't a whole lot of overlap. There's a ton of overlap between the various search engines. Like if you're optimizing for Google, you're optimizing for Yandex, for Bing in a lot of ways. But they do have different specialties and things that they're looking at when you're optimizing your content. So I do want to talk through those. I do have a few notes that I wrote down just so you guys know the differences are when it comes to optimizing your content for different search engines, because it definitely pays off to have traffic from other search engines. So let's see here. For Bing, what's cool about them is that they actually put weight on social signals. So you may have heard that having a Facebook account for your business that has your URL on it isn't going to benefit you that much with Google. And that's true, because Google's everyone has a Facebook page. Why would I care that? Why would I count that as a vote for you and having credibility with your website? But Bing does. So if you don't have your social media profile set up yet, where you have your profiles filled out with your URL, a description of your website, It's important to get those things filled out because Bing does put weight on those things. All right. So that's important. Bing also really likes multimedia content. So making sure you have images in your content, making sure you have video in your content, which I already mentioned. Google likes it because video means that people are going to spend more time on your site. And if people spend a considerable amount of time on your website, they think that, oh, that's a credible page because they're actually reading on that site. So that's one where it's good for both Bing and Google, but Bing really likes it. And Bing is good at exact match keywords too, which if you're using RankIQ is great news because that's exactly the type of keywords that RankIQ pulls. They like long tail keywords, especially when you're thinking about keywords where people are asking a question. So when I say asking a question, like asking a question with typing it, but also voice to text. So voice to text is something that has become a lot more popular. You probably use it yourself. I know some people who are like, they heavily rely on voice to text. So we speak differently than we write. So you want to make sure that sometimes when you're thinking through your keywords, it may not always be grammatically correct, like from a writing perspective. But yeah, think through people who are using voice to text when it comes to search. Those are keywords that are ripe for the taking because that's something that's, only recently starting to really pick up. So think about keywords for voice to text and exact match keywords, long tail, voice to text, all of those things. So those are things that are great for Bing. Yandex, they're good about local relevance. So I told you they're based in Russia. So you have any like a lot of Russian content or people who are just in those European areas, nearby areas to Russia, it's a good one to be on. Let's see here. Oh, and they're big about speed. So Google is big about speed too, but that's one that they put a high priority on. So making sure that you have a fast website. You can go through Google's page speed index to test if you get a passing score for speed on your site, and that will help you with getting a higher score with the index. Oh, something I didn't mention either is with Bing and Yandex, they both have Search Console tools. So if you haven't signed up for a free Yandex account or a free Bing account, you should do that. And that's already going to help you a lot in regard to getting more traffic from both of those tools. So those are both really good. Let's see. And then DuckDuckGo. That's one they don't have a web console tool, but what they do is they're pulling information from a number of different search engines. So a lot of the same practices go for DuckDuckGo, but they do focus a lot on things being privacy friendly. So making sure you have a privacy policy on your site, and then natural content. So what you're asking about, Lurleen, like, should I write like myself? Should I write for Google? Definitely don't write for Google, write for yourself, because then you'll be picked up on these other search engines that see that this is great content across the board, and you can continue to improve from there. So what I've talked about so far, I talked about Pinterest, which has been excellent. I've talked about optimizing your website for different search engines outside of Google. I have focused a lot on Bing and Yandex, and those have been very positive for me in regards to getting some more organic traffic that way. So I'm getting organic traffic from Pinterest and these other search engines, and that's been working out very well. So what else have I done? The other thing I've done is I've been fixing website errors. Which I know I mentioned that last time, but my God, my site is so huge that I'm still fixing website errors. But I'm happy to report that I'm down from 1,500 website errors to 296. So that's still ongoing. I did notice a substantial change in my traffic once I got to the hundreds as far as like fixing website errors. I'm not saying that that's the sole reason for why I'm seeing an increase in traffic, but I know it's making a difference. So do not sleep on website errors. They could definitely make or break if your site is getting good traffic or not. Um, to figure out what your website errors are, I highly recommend using a tool like SEMrush. I know SEMrush is a paid tool, but they have a free version, and they have a limited site audit you can do. So the site audit for the free version, I think, only goes up to like 100 pages. But what's cool about it is it does an audit on your site once a month on the free version, and you can clean up everything from those 100 pages, and then it'll scan your site again for another 100 pages. So you can still use it. It may take a little bit longer to fix website errors because you are limited in how many pages you can scan, depending on how big your site is, of course. But I highly recommend it so that you can see what's wrong and fix it. Some of the biggest errors that were having a negative impact for my search were 404s. So pretty much broken links where people go to a page and they say, oh, this page doesn't exist. Horrible for Google. Google will rate your website so poorly if they see 404 errors. So that's probably the top thing you want to fix. The next thing after that were broken links when it comes to images. So you have an image that doesn't exist anymore, and people are still trying to go there, and it's just that little weird icon. You want to fix that. So yeah, just anything broken where it can lead to a negative experience for your readers is what you want to fix. So yeah, I highly recommend using a tool like SEMrush in that case because it's great. It's excellent for finding errors and fixing them. With the paid version, I do get weekly scans, and I can scan more than weekly, but it automatically scans my site weekly, which is helpful. So it gives me a little overview of how much I've done that week. And it's not just me. I have someone who's helping me when it comes to fixing errors, and we're just kind of dividing and conquering things. So yeah, fixing website errors has been a big priority. Here's my affiliate link for SEMrush if you want to sign up for it. But yeah, we've been doing a lot of that, and we're about to get to the part where once we fix the errors, we're going back through old content and optimizing it for SEO. And just for disclosure, if you're not doing this already, optimizing content for SEO, like old content, it's something you should be doing on at least a monthly basis. So what you want to do is go to your top 10 articles that you have on your website and go through each of those and see how they can be improved. Can you add new content to it? Like, has something changed in this article since last month? Are there any schema things you can add to it? Maybe add an FAQ section, maybe add a video, maybe add some new images to it. Have there been any changes with that product or with any of the information that has come out? Have new laws come out? There's so many things that can change with an article within a month. So optimizing that content in your top 10 every month is a great way to make sure your content is up to date and healthy. So that's a good strategy. Once you get past the top 10, go on to the next 10 and just keep going from there and there and there. And when it comes to optimizing content, it's not something that's going to, oh, I optimize this content and now the next day it's shot up in traffic. It takes months. So you'll make adjustments to content and you'll start to see that traffic to that content is going to increase eventually, so long as that people are still searching for that topic. But that can also mean changing your keywords. I have some articles that have made me thousands of dollars at this point. And the main keyword for that article, those articles have changed over and over and over again, depending on how competitive some of the keywords are, what people are searching for now versus what people were searching for last year. So you want to make sure that you keep your best content optimized because you want people to continue to go to it. And you don't want to have a bunch of keywords that no one is searching for on that content. So as of right now, I'm still fixing errors, but once I get through the broken things, the next stage is finding my top content and finding ways to optimize it so that it's continually growing and getting traffic. So that's another strategy. So far, I talked about what I've done to continue to grow my traffic outside of Google. And that has included Pinterest. That's included optimizing my website for other search engines like Yandex and Bing and DuckDuckGo. And then I just talked about the third thing that I've been doing, which is optimizing my website by fixing broken things, as well as going through old content and optimizing it for SEO as well. So I've been doing all of those things, and it's been playing a big role in my traffic strategy. Um, okay, so thinking through this, yep, I have all of those things. The last thing that I've done to drive traffic to my website outside of Google, and it's kind of a cheat because like it's still through Google, but in a different way. I am doing a Google ad placement. So why do a Google ad? One, you may be thinking like, is it too expensive? Why would you do a Google ad when you're not getting a lot of traffic from Google organically? Well, the reason for wanting to do the Google ad is because I just wanted to see. I want to see how it worked out. And the thing is, like, if you're smart about it, it's not something that you're going to like spend $1,000 on and then like have nothing to show for it. So I have Mediavine, and I get paid for the amount of traffic I get to my content. So what I did was I looked at what my rate per million is for a piece of content, meaning like how much money can I earn for every 1,000 people who come to my site or come to a page. And I found my top articles that have the highest RPMs, and I ran those in a Google ad. And then I talked to the person who put the ad together for me, and I told them, hey, my cost per click cannot be more than 10 cents a click, because if it's more than 10 cents a click, I am losing money. I'm pretty much losing money on this ad. So he set it up for me. He knew it would be a little challenging to do for less than 10 cents a click, but Google is a big place. It has a lot of people on it. And he was able to do it. My ad has been running for the last month. I have only spent $6. And how much traffic has it sent to my site? Not a ton. It hasn't sent a ton of traffic to my site. I want to say like 150. It's got 150 clicks. But it's exposing people to my site to the point where I'm getting like a lot more direct traffic to my website. So it's like you ever have like something show up in Google where it's like you see this link for the ad, but then you see another link that has the same name that's not the ad, and you click the one that's not the ad because it's like, I'd rather not click on this because it's going to send me to some salesy pipeline. I'd rather just get the content I need. That's what's happening for my Google ad. So I can account for probably about 5,000 different page views to my site for my Google ad from that alone, just from my impressions, the impressions that I'm getting, and people clicking on my content around the ad as opposed to clicking on the ad, which works out for me because I haven't spent much of anything. I haven't spent hardly any money, and I'm getting a lot more views and impressions on my blog that way. So it is important to make sure it's set up properly. If you're interested in working with someone who can set it up for you in a way that makes sense so that you can track it and you're not worried about it not working properly. I have a really good guy that I found on Fiverr. I'd be happy to share the link with you. Just send me an email and I'll get you his contact information. But here it is. I'll give you my email here. There it is. So yeah, email me after this and I'll be happy to give you the link to his profile. He's great. And I'm going to continue to use them and see how it goes. Now, obviously, it doesn't work like that every time. You can't just set up an ad in Google Ads and you have great results like that. But he was actually optimizing it the whole way through so that I continue to get good traffic. And even now, it's still just consistently increasing. I'm getting more clicks every day, and I'm averaging about 6 cents a click for my Google ad. So yeah, that's something that has been very positive, and it's played a good role in me getting more organic traffic to my site. So yeah, those are my strategies that I've been working with. I've been working with Pinterest, optimize my site for other search engines, fixing broken things on my website, doing a Google ad. Those are the 4 things I've been implementing this last month. It's been a lot of work. Oh my goodness. My site, Miss Mill, has over 2,000 blog posts. So it's a lot. It's a lot. The fact that it's taken me months to do this and like pretty much hiring a small army to like help me with it is not surprising. But the good news is, if you don't have 2,000 pages on your website, you can do all these things that I'm talking about so much faster and probably start to see results faster too. I will say though that it's been 3 months of me implementing these things, and for many of them, I'm only now starting to see it pay off. So even if you start implementing these things and you don't see like that upward trajectory, like how I saw, like I just showed you guys today, it's normal. Like I've actually had a lot of down, down and then ups and then downs and then ups and then downs and then ups in the last 3 months. So this is the first time where I'm starting to really see like, okay, we're going somewhere. It's getting somewhere. So yeah, just don't lose hope. There's still people out there who are looking for the content that you're creating. And I hear it. What's interesting is I've had conversations with 2 different people now who are not bloggers, and they've told me like, man, I really want to find an answer to this question, but searching on Google is such a pain in the ass now. Like I keep getting stuff for Reddit and Quora, and it's outdated and it's not exactly what I'm looking for. Or they give me stuff from Forbes or Good Housekeeping, and that's not what we're looking for most of the time. I think what people don't realize is most of the content we're consuming to get answers are blogs. It's blogs. Like we do play an important role. And I think eventually Google is going to see that this is a problem, because it's not just bloggers saying like, hey, you can't just cut this out like this. It's also the people who are searching on Google and saying that it's not a great experience anymore. I can't even find the answers I'm looking for because you have all these irrelevant topic magazines and websites that, yeah, just aren't relevant to what I'm looking for, and not as specific either. The benefit of us creating content is we can get very specific. I can write content that's just for women who are like me, Black women who happen to grow up in the United States and move to Costa Rica. I can write an article specifically for them, and that's something that more than likely a website like the Huffington Post isn't going to do. So yeah, I think eventually they'll see that. And, with all these challenges, I feel like we just learn how to get better and how to just create great content. So yeah, that's what I have. That's what I have so far in regard to what I've been working on. It's consuming all of my time, all of my time, my blogging time, I should say, because I'm doing other things outside of my blog, obviously. But yeah, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to post them in the chat. I'm happy to get some answers for you. But yeah, I think the message after today is just to stay hopeful. There's still people out there who are doing great in regard to getting good traffic to their website. And I've even seen people who like, they're still like 100% focusing on Google and still seeing that upward trajectory with their traffic as well. So yeah, it's not too late. There's still plenty of people looking for what you have to say, and you just have to keep at it, and you'll start to see the payoff as long as you're consistent and you're doing the right things. But I think I've given some good resources here outside of just some of the tips that I know have worked for me, using websites like Backlinko. That has been a really, really good resource, in my opinion, when it comes to just good tactics for SEO. It's worked really well for me. The course I've taken when it comes to SEO, Stupid Simple SEO, which is really, really good, very robust course. And you'll start to see, you'll see the improvements after just the first few lessons of that course, because it's intense. And I know he's recently updated it too, to take into consideration Google and a lot of the other things that are happening. But interestingly enough, I know he recently came out with a new product called Stupid Simple Blogging. And he is talking about Pinterest. He's talking about all these other opportunities to drive traffic to your website. So he's saying the same thing. Like, listen, I know that SEO for Google is what my bread and butter is and what I tell you guys to do, but we got to start looking elsewhere. So I do like that he said that if the person who's creating this course is saying that, then it needs to happen. We need to be diversifying where our traffic comes from, and just keep up with it. It's what's going to make it so that our blogs survive. Be able to get traffic from various resources or various sources outside of just Google. Anyway, that's all I got. I don't see any other questions. So I will see you guys in November. I know I haven't set up any of my new videos for the live streams yet, but they will go up. And I'll see y'all in November and December, and then we'll be the new year already. My goodness, like it's all going so fast. So fast. Anyway, thanks so much for your time today. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see y'all next month. Bye.